Hey everyone, welcome back to Living Survival. My name is Ben, and today we're going to take a look at the RAVPower portable power station. These are becoming pretty popular, going all the way from our standard portable battery banks that most of us have been using, all the way on up to, solar generators that we've looked at. This is certainly a portable unit from RAVPower. It's got some great features to it, very, very handy. We're going to go over, everything you can do with one of these things, as well as the pros that I have with this particular unit and the cons as well. So let's bring you in and take a closer look. So many of us have seen these small portable power banks. These are great. We keep these charged all the time. We use them at the bedside. We use them when we go camping, hiking, backpacking. These come in all different sizes on up to about the 25,000-ish range. You can get a few that are a little bit bigger. I mean, basically all it is you have batteries in here, and then depending on the number of batteries that are linked together, that's going to give you, higher or lower output. So RAVPower has a power station. It's pretty dang portable in itself. This is it. It's a little cube here. It's very similar in size to the Anchor powerhouse that we've reviewed. I love this unit. I've taken it canoeing. I've taken it camping, of course. I keep it in the car to keep my electronics charged on the go. When I'm out doing a video, I can keep the GoPro charged. I can keep my cell phone charged. I can keep my cameras charged. So the powerhouse has a 57,600 milliamp output. So it's about 3 times or so one of these little power banks. And again, it's about 3-4 times the size. So as you go up in size, that's how you're going to go up in output. We are going to look at the RAVPower power station today. It's a little bit more powerful than the Anchor here. You can see it's about the same size, maybe a little bit taller, but it does have a higher output. It has a 70,200 milliamp output versus the 57 on this guy. So we're going to go over some of the specs on this real quick, and then I'll show you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and you can make a decision whether it's something that would work for you. So it does come with a nice carrying case, which is great. My Anchor, I've actually dropped that one before, and since it does have an LED screen on the front, I've actually cracked that. I did send it in. They sent me a new one. But you do want to be careful with that. The screen is nice to have because obviously you can see, where you're at on power. You can see where you're at on charge. You can see this one's, I'm getting ready to recharge this one up. Some of them, like the Jackeries, have an input and output percentage, which is really nice to have. And again, you can go on up as price goes up, as size goes up. You can go crazy on these solar generators. We've looked at the Energy before, which is a crazy one. They get real heavy and they get a lot less portable. So this is definitely something that's portable. It comes with a nice carrying case here. It is a nice carrying case. There's a couple pockets on the side to keep cables, to keep GoPros or whatever. It does have a grab handle on the top, a shoulder strap, and then on the inside it's nice and padded. So the unit slips right down in here. You can put your AC adapter, which it does come with, which is really nice. That can go down the side as well, and then it does come with a USB cable. And then on the top flap here, it does have a zipper compartment as well for more cables or for memory cards or for whatever you might want to store in there. So this would be a great unit just to take along for somebody like me that goes out, maybe camping, wants to keep their devices charged up. This is going to be something that's going to work great for that. So let's move this case out of the way here, and let's talk a little bit about this power station here. It weighs 5.4 pounds, so it's not too heavy. It's definitely portable. You get into some of those larger, solar generators that have actual batteries in them, and you can get on up to 20, 30, 40 pounds, and they become a lot less portable. Those would be for overlanding or for maybe use in an RV. This is going to be something that you could certainly just, take out at camp and be able to use to recharge your devices, or in my case, I can use it to recharge cameras. It does have a 300 watt max output on the AC outputs up top. It has 2 of those AC outputs. The Anchor, again, in comparison, has a max of 100 watt. Now there are Jackery units out there that I've reviewed in the past. They're a little bit bigger. Again, the capacity could be a little bit bigger and price is going to go up. And they all sort of seem to have some pros and some cons to them. So this one has 252.7 watt hours versus the 200 watt hours of the Anchor. It's got a 60 watt power delivery port here. So power delivery is sort of the new thing. Newer components such as laptops and tablets can use that power delivery, and it's an input and output, so you could actually charge this using power delivery as well. So it's got up to a 60 watt input and output. Other things on this side are 3 smart charging ports. So I like that it has 3 additional USB ports there, and these are if you're using the number 1 slot here, and they are marked 1, 2, 3, the number 1 slot has a 5 volt 3 amp output, number 2 has a 5 volt 2.4, and the third one has a 5.2.4 as well. Flipping it around to the back side here, there is two spots here. There's the input for the DC, so that's how you can charge it with the DC. There's also an input for DC, or output for DC. So although it doesn't come with that cable, you could get a DC output, and it would essentially give you, you know, a cigarette lighter style adapter here. Now I have used that. I've used that for air mattresses. I do have a DC pump that plugs in there, so it would have been nice if this came with that cable to be able to do so. You can also charge this via solar panel, which is pretty cool. Continuing on here on this side, it does have the main power button, and it also has a light, which is kind of cool. Some may see that as a pro, some may see that as a con. If you're gonna leave this in the vehicle, for example, you know, it's nice to have that. It does have the on, off, and SOS. To operate the light, you double click, and that is going to turn the light on. It does only have 1 brightness level, but that's kind of nice. Even around camp, you can give yourself some base lighting. Maybe this is on a picnic table, or maybe it's in you know, a shelter that you have. You can give yourself a little light while you're plugging in devices, so that is kind of handy. It does have several different modes, so if I double click it again, you got an SOS. So you could stick this on the hood of your car and signal, for example. Double click it again and it has a flash. So that's nice to have, a little bit of emergency filter feature built in. But what I like about it is around camp you can give yourself a little bit of task lighting to be able to plug in things and to be able to recharge things at night. Moving on to the next side here, we have our status output. Now this doesn't have a screen on it, it just has a simple 5 LED output here. What I also like is that it is in 20% increments. So you can see it's 100% charged here, then it would be 80, 60, 40, 20, and then time to recharge it. So I do like that, and when you're charging the device, it goes in the opposite direction, so it would flash, and then, you know, it's going to tell you on up to 100% in 20% increments. On up to the top side here, you have your 2 AC outputs. They do have little dust covers here that that protect them from, you know, dirt and grime getting in there, since they are located on the top. You activate these by holding down the switch up top here, and you'll get the little light, and then that lets you know that these are activated and you can plug these in. These outputs will allow you to charge a laptop, charge your phone, obviously, with a standard you know, AC adapter, a radio, small fan, and actually I hooked this up to a box fan and turned it on high, and it had no problem running that. You, of course, could charge cameras. You can plug this into lamps, which is nice. In the event of a power outage, we have one of these standing by, and we can plug a couple lamps in, which gives you some nice light. What you're not going to be able to do with this is anything with basically like a heating element. So you're not going to be able to do a toaster, coffee maker, microwave, hair dryer, vacuum, iron, things like that. You do need a little bit beefier device that has a higher wattage output to be able to do that. All right, so let's get on into my pros, and then we'll go over some of the cons. I do like its size and its weight. It is small, compact, and again, it has more output than the Anchor at relatively the same size. You can get some bigger ones. Jackery makes a 240, I believe. This is a 250. They make a 500, I believe, so if you're stepping up into the 500, of course, you're going to pay more, but you're going to get more output on that. I do like on the front panel here how it has the 20% increments, and it is nice and simple. You know, you don't have anything really to break. The whole thing is pretty rugged. It's got a nice carrying handle up top. I like the case that it comes with, for not only for protection, but for carrying some extra cables. I do like that it has the power delivery. As more and more devices are able to use that, it'll be nice. I love that it has 3 USB outputs. Some of these only have one output, some of them have maybe two. I do like that it has the 3 outputs on it. That's nice. I like that it can be charged via a solar panel. I like that it has a DC input and it actually comes with the cable, so you're not stuck charging it via power delivery or charging it via USB. I didn't know how I'd like the light feature at first, but after using it, I do like that. It gives you the task lighting and it gives you an emergency light if you need it. So that's nice that it is built in. It's not built in on all of them, so that's pretty cool. I like that the AC outputs are separated, so meaning you have to turn them on to actually activate them. You're not going to accidentally activate them, and there's no power draw when this thing is off. That will also shut off after a minute. So if there's nothing plugged in here, that's going to shut off after a minute. So that's nice. So let's get into some of my cons. There are definitely a few cons with this unit here. I would have liked to see an actual DC output cable, you know, something that I could plug in a cigarette lighter type device into, my air mattress pump, for example, or maybe you're pumping up a tire, you know, or you have a small pump like that that uses DC, or you have other devices that maybe use DC. It would be nice to have that cable available so that you can charge via that DC. You know, you could buy an extra one, but it would be nice if it came with it. There is just a basic display, so although I labeled that as a pro to me, that could also be a con to some people. You know, some people like to see a percentage there, not only in the battery capacity, but also your charging rate. So some people like to see the output percentage, and you can do that on other units that are a little bit bigger than this. And finally, my last con with this, and it is kind of a big one, is these AC outputs do not have a dummy ground hole. So what that means is that you're only able to plug in 2-prong plugs into this, and that's frustrating because on the Anchor here, although it doesn't serve any purpose for a ground, it's just a slot, I can still plug in my MacBook power adapter that does have the ground portion of the plug. So I can still plug that in there. This does a great job at recharging my MacBook. That's really the main thing that I've run into. I'm sure there are other devices that have that 3rd prong on them that you'd be able to use with this. But unfortunately, in order to do that, you'd have to get an adapter that goes from a 2 to a 3, and that's just a hassle. You know, I guess you could throw one in the bag if you absolutely needed it, and it wouldn't be that big a deal, but it would have been nice. It seems like it's super easy just to throw that 3rd little dummy hole in there, and then you wouldn't have that problem at all. So just a few cons there, you know, not necessarily a deal breaker for me. Of course, if you get into the newer components, you know, newer laptops and things, you can use that power delivery port anyway. Overall, I think it's a well-built piece of equipment. It's pretty useful and easy to use. Power source here, so you know, if you need something that's a little bit bigger than the real portable power blocks, this might be something to consider. I like the fact that it does have a pretty decent output for the price you're going to pay, especially with the discount that I have below. I think it's a good piece of equipment. I've done a lot of RAVPower stuff before. They have great power banks, and I'm pretty happy with it, minus a few cons, minus a few adapters you may need to get if you wanted to use the DC or if you wanted to use a 3-prong AC. But for just, you know, everyday use, maybe a CPAP machine, or maybe just to power a light, or maybe just to, you know, keep devices charged in one area, it'd be a good unit for that. Certainly a good unit to keep in the car, especially with the emergency lighting here, or the task lighting when you go camping. So overall, I like it. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. So thanks for stopping by and taking a look at the RAVPower Power Station with me. I do have a discount code that I'll leave in the description below. It knocks quite a bit off this power unit, and I do believe it is a pretty fair price compared to what else is out there in capacity and in that price range. So there'll be a link below to that. Make sure you guys drop down there and leave me a comment. I try to answer as many questions and comments as I can. I hope you guys give this video a big thumbs up for me. I got a great giveaway coming up. I'm not sure if I'm going to drop it on Christmas Day or a few days after, but I've got a whole box of goodies sitting over there ready to give away sometime before the year end to wrap up this crazy 2020 year. So I hope you guys have a great holiday. If I don't see you before then, make sure you are subscribed and click that notification bell to be notified of future videos.